On the night of my coming-of-age ceremony, my nominal older sister, Sister Duong, secretly kissed me. Her trembling lips revealed the madness she had been suppressing. It wasn't until this moment that I knew. The reason Sister Duong declared to the world that she was a non-marriage advocate was actually because she was hiding an unspeakable love in her heart. I didn't expose to Tiu and Da Shu's stolen kiss, but instead, I took the initiative to confess to her the next day. I thought it would be a happy ending for us lovers, but unexpectedly, to Tiu and Aju, the one who secretly kissed me last night, seemed to have turned into a different person. She flew into a rage on the spot, scolding me for being shameless in front of everyone, and even brought a man home, gently holding his hand. I am going to marry him. Those filthy thoughts you have for me, cut them off immediately. At that moment, I felt like my world was collapsing. From that day on, no matter how recklessly Du Tu Dang acted, and made things difficult for me for no reason, Tu Taiyu and Hu chose to turn a blind eye. At first, I gave in time and time again, silently enduring it, until Tiu and Hu indulged Du Tu Dang, who was allergic to cat fur, and he beat to death the cat who had been my companion for many years. That night, I held my cat and cried my heart out, crying all the tears I had for a lifetime. I then shakily took out my phone and made a call. Auntie So, I've thought carefully about what you said. I agree to marry So Aungu. On the other end of the line, Mother So couldn't hide her smile. That's wonderful. Tiu fam. Aungu has been waiting for you to say yes all these years. Let me see. The 7th of next month is an auspicious day. Shall we set that as the day to register the marriage? You'll also have time to handle your affairs. There are exactly 15 days until the 7th of next month. Enough for me to settle everything. I nodded. I'll follow all your arrangements. Auntie, Mother So chuckled. Still calling me Auntie? I forced a smile. Thank you, Mother. After hanging up, I held Duong's body and slowly walked out into the yard. Step by step. I remember when Duong first came here. He was only the size of my palm. I had also just arrived at this house back then. Tiu Nhu was worried I'd be scared of the new environment, so to comfort me, she specially chose this cat to be my companion. Duong used to love sleeping under this tree the most. From now on, you can stay here. The dirt slowly covered his small body. My tears fell silently, mixing with the soil. I picked up a few of the most beautiful plane tree leaves and placed them on his small grave. Duong, goodbye forever. To Taiyu Nhu, goodbye forever. The moment I said these goodbyes, I completely let go of the obsession in my heart. When I was 7, my parents died in a plane crash. I was the only one left in the Tran family. Helpless and alone, my relatives passed me around like a ball. No one wanted to take me in. At that time, to Taiyu Nhu of the two family from the suburbs, my nominal older sister, stepped forward and took the initiative to bring me to the two family home to raise me. She even helped me protect the Tran family's assets. From then on, everyone in our circle knew that Tiu Nhu wasn't dating anyone and was raising a pitiful me at home. I was 10 years younger than her, mischievous, with a smile as bright as the sun. Tiu Nhu combed my hair every day and even put on my shoes for me with her own hands, just because she said that the pampering other young masters received. Our Tiu fam couldn't lack any of it. I was afraid of being home alone and would start crying the moment I hugged her. To Tiu Nhus' heart ached unbearably. From then on, she refused all meetings and social gatherings and came home to me on time every day. To Tiu Nhu raised me with her own hands. Bit by bit, the way she looked at me gradually filled with love. Later, when Tiu Nhu came of age, her family urged her to get married, but she shook her head. I am a non-marriage advocate. In this life, I will only be good to my Tiu fam. There will be no one else. Hearing those words, I was incredibly moved, and couldn't help but wonder if she had feelings for me. Until my 18th birthday, Auntie So was my mother's childhood friend. They were pregnant and gave birth at almost the same time. Seeing it was one boy and one girl, the two families arranged a marriage for us when we were children. Over the years, Mother So would occasionally visit me in Kin City. She also wanted to adopt me, but Taiyu Nhu refused. 3 days ago, Mother So suddenly suggested that she hoped to fulfill the marriage pact from back then, for me to go to the city and marry the So family's only daughter, because of Tiu Nhu, because of that kiss. I didn't agree, stubbornly wanting to find out what this was all about, but now, I've given up. After burying Duong, I turned and went inside. You people, clean up this house for me completely, and all that cat's things, take them all to be destroyed. Don't leave a single thing behind. Du Tu Dang had finished instructing people to move boxes, and was now standing in the middle of the living room, bossing everyone around. I was about to speak up and stop him, when I remembered Tiu Nhu's words. Tu Dang is the master of this house, so I stood by silently, without saying a word. Just then, the door opened, and Nhu came home. Seeing the villa completely changed, she subconsciously frowned. The next second, Tu Dang walked over, and intimately took her hand. Nhu, I've changed the villa to a style I like. You don't have any objections, do you? Hearing this, Nhu couldn't help but instinctively glance at me. I used to decorate this entire house, saying it was too cold, and that a home needed warmth, so it couldn't lack flowers and plants, and the furniture had to be in warm tones. Back then, she smiled and asked if something was still missing. I laughed and picked up the cat, holding his paw and waving it. We also need Duong. What else? She continued to ask, until I said, we need you, sister to Nhu. Only then is it a complete family. Nhu's expression flickered slightly. My innocent, radiant smile back then, she still remembered it clearly now. Now this house has a new look, and even Duong is gone. But I didn't make a scene at all. I stood there calmly. Only my red-rimmed eyes showed that I seemed to have cried. Otherwise, you couldn't tell anything was wrong. Nhu suppressed the strange feeling in her heart and said gently to Tu Dang, no objections. You are the master of this house. You can do whatever you want. Tu Dang beamed, extremely pleased with this answer. He wrapped his arm around Nhu's waist and leaned in to kiss her. I turned away, not watching them kiss, and calmly went upstairs to leave. After returning to my room, I cleared out everything related to Nhu. Outside, the diaries I had written, and everything related to her that I once cherished. Since I had decided to give up, there was no need to keep these things. I threw everything into a cardboard box, then carried the box downstairs. Seeing me carrying a box and about to go out, Nhu called out to me coldly, what are you holding? I answered calmly, trash. I am taking it out to throw away. With that, I strode outside, and threw the box away. After coming back, I didn't go inside right away, but stood at the door, studying the keypad lock. The beeping sound of pressing the keypad went on for a long time. Hearing the sound, Nhu couldn't help but walk over, and was stunned for a moment seeing my actions. What are you doing? The woman's beautiful shadow fell over me. I could clearly smell the cool cedar scent on her. If it were before, my ears would have probably turned red unconsciously, but now, I was as calm as a still lake. I didn't have any inappropriate reactions. The front door password used to be my birthday. Now that brother Tu Dang has moved in, it should naturally be changed to his sister Nhu. When is brother Tu Dang's birthday? Nhu didn't answer, her deep eyes scrutinizing me. It wasn't her imagination. I really was a bit strange today. Sister Nhu. When is brother Tu Dang's birthday? I asked again, my finger poised over the keypad. How do I change it? Nhu still said nothing, just looking at me with those deep eyes. After a moment's hesitation, I asked softly, don't tell me you don't know? As soon as I finished speaking, Tu Dang walked over. How could Nhu not know? Just 5 days ago, she even prepared a surprise for me, he said, showing off the necklace around his neck. I calmly nodded, changed the password, and then went inside alone, not looking back at the gaze fixed on me from behind, a gaze that lingered for a very long time. The next day, my workday alarm woke me up. I checked the time, and hurriedly got up to go to the Tu group. The first thing I did when I got to the company was submit my resignation letter. In order to pursue to Nhu, I ignored all objections, worked hard for 3 months, and finally managed to get an interview at the Tu group. The position I chose, that angle, just by looking up, I could see to Nhu's office, but now I have to leave. So this position has no meaning anymore. After my resignation was approved, I went to my desk, packed up all my personal belongings, and left without looking back. When the special assistant found out, he knocked on the CEO's office door, then stammered, CEO 2, young Master Tran Pham has resigned. Did you know about this? Nhu's action of reviewing documents suddenly froze. Tran Pham resigned? Today? Her voice was as cold as ice. The special assistant unconsciously flinched, and hurriedly replied, yes. Nhu's hands tensed slightly. After a moment, she directly grabbed her coat and car keys and stood up, leaving only one sentence behind, cancel the international meeting. Nhu returned home at top speed. When she opened the door to my room, I was hunched over my desk, writing something. Nhu said coldly, you quit? I didn't expect her to be back so early, and was momentarily stunned, but my expression remained calm. Yes, didn't you always want me to leave the company? I've thought it through. The major I studied really isn't suitable. I'll find a more suitable job later. Hearing this, Nhu was silent for a long time. looking at me for a long while with her deep eyes, before finally uttering a few words. "It's good that you've thought it through." Her answer didn't surprise me at all. After all, from the day I joined the company, she had said I wasn't a good fit. It was just me, one-sidedly and stubbornly refusing to leave. Now it could be considered a resolved concern for her. For the next few days, Tou and Hu spent time almost every day, taking Du Tu Dang out on dates. I looked at the sweet photos that Du Tu Dang posted on his social media and felt not a single ripple in my heart. Every time they were about to go out, Du Tu Dang would deliberately ask me, "Tu fam, do you want to hang out with me and your sister?" I always just refused. "No need. It's fine as long as you two have fun." I was about to have my own family, and had decided to completely let go of Tiu and Yu. Of course I wouldn't interfere with their dates, much less be a third wheel, but for some reason, Du Tu Dang kept insisting on inviting me. That day, as I came downstairs, Du Tu Dang grabbed my wrist. "Tiu fam, come hang out with us today." Before I could refuse, Du Tu Dang's hand tightened slightly, and he said with a meaningful smile, "Tiu fam, you've refused me so many times. It's not that you have a problem with me, is it?" With that, Du Tu Dang immediately squeezed out a few tears, and looked aggrievedly at Tiu and Yu. Finally, Tai Yu and Hu frowned at me. "Tai Yu fam, Tu Dang just wants to build a good relationship with you. Well, I'll be one family later. You have to learn to get along with him." One family? I thought bitterly. I am leaving soon. Only to Tiu and Yu, and Du Tiu Dang are a family. In the end, I was still dragged away by Du Tu Dang. Her car was parked at the door. Du Tu Dang pushed me into the car. I sat in the back seat. Seeing me in the back seat, Tiu and Yu subconsciously gripped the steering wheel. If it were before, I would have definitely fought to sit in the passenger seat next to her. The passenger seat even had the small decorations I liked, as if declaring my territory. But this time, I was so well behaved. Tiu and Hu discreetly looked through the rearview mirror, glancing at me a few times. Du Tu Dang sat in the passenger seat, casually fiddling with some of the decorations, with a disgusted look on his face. "Tau and Hu, I don't like these toys. Can I throw them away?" Tiu and Hu calmly looked straight ahead, and said faintly, "You are the master. Of course, it's up to you to decide." I also spoke up at the right time. "Those are things I put there before. They're not anything important. If Brother Tu Dang wants to throw them away, he can." Hearing this, Tiu and Yu was stunned. Her fingertips, which had been unconsciously tapping on the steering wheel, also stopped. The person in the rearview mirror still had a calm expression. I seemed to have changed a lot. If it were before, I would definitely have thrown a tantrum. But this time, I did nothing. Du Tu Dang narrowed his eyes, picked up those decorations, and threw them into the trash can one by one. After throwing everything away, the three of them set off for the theater. As soon as Du Tu Dang got out of the car, he said excitedly, "Tou and Yu, this is my favorite play. I saw it once and couldn't get tickets again. Thank you so much this time." He excitedly held Tiu and Yu's hand and sat down. I was just like an outsider following behind them. The tickets Tiu and Yu got were in the front row, but she had me sit in the row behind them. The magnificent play began. The actors on stage performed intently, and many people were engrossed in it. But even while watching the play, Tiu and Hu and Du Tu Dang still held hands. I could clearly see she wasn't interested in the play. Looking at their intertwined hands, I no longer felt as sad as before. I just curled my lips in a self-mocking smile. I went to bed very late last night, and the air conditioner's breeze was making me even sleepier. After a while, I fell asleep, until the fire used for the performance effects suddenly went out of control, spreading in an instant, in the blink of an eye. The flames rushed towards the three of us. "Be careful." Tiu immediately protected Du Tu Dang beside her, pulling him into her arms, using her body to shield him from all danger. Hearing this shout, I was startled to see the flames rushing towards me, and instinctively covered my face with my hands, almost immediately smelling burning flesh. A searing pain shot through my arm, so painful that I almost lost consciousness. The fire was brought under control in time, only I was injured. My entire right arm was burned so badly there was barely any intact skin left. It looked incredibly horrifying. Even though the pain made my face turn pale, and cold sweat broke out, I still gritted my teeth and endured it, without crying out in pain once. Tou. That was so scary. The fire rushed right at me. He held up a lock of singed hair, sobbing uncontrollably, seemingly still in shock. "It's okay now, don't be afraid. I am here." She comforted him gently, without even glancing at me. The staff's faces turned pale with fear, and they rushed over to apologize with guilty expressions. "CEO 2. We're sorry. We're truly sorry. This was our negligence." To Taiyunhu sternly rebuked them. Investigate the cause of the accident thoroughly. I am waiting for a reasonable explanation from you. Otherwise, even though she didn't state the consequences, the staff was still shaking with fear, nodding continuously. Yes. Yes. Well, investigate right away. After the drenched in sweat staff left, Taiyunhu then gave me a cold glance. Take a taxi to the hospital yourself. As soon as she finished speaking, she took Du Tu Dang's hand and left without looking back. Only disappointment remained in my eyes. I didn't know if the disappointment in my heart was deeper, or if the pain in my arm was deeper. Before, she couldn't bear to see me get hurt even a little, but now she could ignore my pain, and I couldn't help but shake my head, forcing myself not to think about these things anymore. I am leaving soon. Soon I'll have no relationship with her anymore. Just wait a little longer. I took a deep breath and walked out of the theater, trying to catch a taxi to the hospital. Fortunately, the burn wasn't too serious. Not to the point of needing a skin graft, it just looked a bit scary. After the doctor applied medicine for me, he sent me home to rest. When I left the hospital, it was already very dark, and it was pouring rain outside. The sky was pitch black, very frightening. The streets were empty. I refreshed my phone's screen over and over again. But still, no one accepted my ride request. I couldn't get a ride, and the strong wind was howling, almost wanting to blow me away. With no other choice, I could only try to walk home. My umbrella tried to shield a patch of sky, to keep my newly burned arm from getting wet. The road ahead was dark and unclear. The rain blurred my vision. The light from my phone and the streetlights were hazy in the rain. I could only walk close to the curb, trying to navigate my way back from memory. Just then, an electric scooter brushed past me, and then sped off. I was knocked straight to the ground. I tried several times but couldn't get up. It completely ignored whether it had hit someone or not. The umbrella fell and rolled a few times in the rain, and was eventually run over by another scooter, leaving only its broken frame. I lay in a puddle of water, the icy rainwater soaking me completely, shivering uncontrollably. My whole body ached from the collision as if it were falling apart. I could hardly tell how many injuries I had. I was truly out of options. I could only call to Taiyunhu for help. After all, she was the adoptive sister I had been with for so many years. As soon as the call connected, Taiyunhu's cold voice came through. Didn't I tell you to take a taxi to the hospital yourself? I have to be with Tu Dang. I don't have time to worry about you right now. As soon as she finished speaking, the phone was cruelly hung up. I fell into absolute despair. In the end, I could only force myself to stand up and limp my way home. I don't know how far I walked. I don't know how I managed to push through until dawn. I finally made it home, covered in injuries. The moment I stepped into the house, I fainted right away. I don't know how much time passed. I was woken up by the ringing of my phone. I opened my phone to check, and only then did I realize Aunt Chu and Chu Yu had called me countless times. While I was hesitating, Mother Chu's call came through again. Xiao Fan, did something happen to you? Why haven't you been picking up? I pretended to be relaxed and lied, saying nothing was wrong. I am fine, my phone just ran out of battery. I didn't want to make them worry, even though I tried my best to hide it. Mother Chu still heard from my choked and hoarse voice that something was wrong. Are you really okay? We couldn't reach your phone. Yu was worried sick. She was about to fly over tonight to find you. There's no need for that much trouble. We shouldn't meet before the wedding. Besides, I'll be back in a few days. I hurriedly refused. Mother Chu still wasn't reassured. She gently reminded me. Xiao Fan, from now on, you are part of our family. If anything happens, you must tell us. Only by speaking up can we help you. You don't need to be formal with family, you know? Her caring words warmed my heart. I know. Auntie, did you call for any particular reason? On the other end of the line, Mother Chu finally remembered, slapping her forehead. Look at this memory of mine. You and I have picked out dozens of wedding suits for you. The photos have been sent to you. We wanted to ask which one you like. Well, finalize that one for the wedding. I am not picky about wedding suits. Any of them is fine. Before I could finish my sentence, Su Xiaoru pushed the door open and walked in. Her heart skipped a beat. She unconsciously grabbed my fingers and asked, Wedding suits? What wedding suits? It's nothing, my friend wants to do a wedding-style photo shoot, so she called to ask for my opinion. I lied in a soft voice. Then I pulled my hand back in pain. Seeing my action, Su Xiaoru finally noticed my disheveled state. What happened to you to get into this state? Before I could answer, Du Ziteng walked in. Xiaoru. Xiao Fan, little brother, did you see your sister with me all night and deliberately put yourself in this state to get her attention? As he spoke, he gripped Su Xiaoru's hand tightly, with a jealous expression. I was already used to this. Just as I was about to open my mouth to explain, Su Xiaoru's expression immediately turned cold. Chen Fan, I thought you had come to your senses, but I didn't expect you still haven't given up, is that right? Her voice was cold and sharp, her words completely devoid of any affection. "If you continue like this, then move out for me." Those words kept echoing in my head. My heart, which was already numb, couldn't help but ache dully again. My eyes turned red, my lips trembled a few times, and the forced smile was uglier than crying. "Sister Xiaoru, don't worry, I will leave." After saying that, I staggered upstairs. Every step was extremely slow and difficult. Su Xiaoru was stunned by this sentence, watching my back as I went upstairs. Her expression changed constantly, several times. I returned to my room, changed out of my soaked clothes, and bit my lip as I treated the wounds myself. The dense pain all over my body had almost made me numb. After treating the wounds, a few knocks came from the door. Su Xiaoru opened the door. Her dark eyes were bottomless, her gaze heavy as she stared at me. "What did you mean by what you just said?" Her hand on the doorknob, her knuckles unconsciously tightened. I just felt a little strange inside. If I leave, I won't cling to her anymore. She also won't have to hear things that displease her. Shouldn't she be very happy? Why does she have such a complicated expression? I didn't understand. I just remained silent, not answering. Su Xiaoru persisted in asking, "Tell me, what did you mean by what you just said? Make it clear." Seeing her gloomy expression, my heart skipped a beat again. For a moment, I didn't dare to tell her everything. Just saying that I wanted to leave already elicited this reaction from her. If I told her directly that I was leaving to get married, how would she react? I almost didn't dare to think further. Suppressing the panic in my heart, I said evasively, "Didn't you want me to leave?" Su Xiaoru's expression relaxed slightly. "Who told you that?" "The day I brought you home. I said I would take care of you for a lifetime. Do you want me to break my promise? I know you're still holding a grudge over Yang Yang's matter, but Zitang is about to move in, and he's allergic and can't stand cats. If you really want to raise one, I'll go find another one for you. But you have to keep it in your room, and don't let it hurt Zitang." Hearing this sentence, I curled my lips into a bitter smile. So it turns out she just didn't want to break her promise. That's why she didn't want me to leave. I shook my head. "No need. I am not getting a cat, and I will definitely leave. No matter how much the cat you bring back resembles Yang Yang, it's ultimately not him. Besides, I am leaving soon, so I can't take good care of it. If the little kitten were to encounter what happened that day, I absolutely couldn't bear it. So, there's no need. Sister Xiaoru, I am not angry. Just go take care of brother Zitang. I am tired and want to rest." After saying that, without looking at the expression of the person before me, I closed the door without any reluctance. Looking at the closed door, Su Xiaoru's heart was a tangled mess. She didn't know what to say because I was soaked in the rain all night and got into a car accident. My body was extremely weak. I lay in bed with a high fever all day. I took a few fever reducers, but my body temperature still didn't go down. My body ached and was sore all over, completely drained of strength. My throat was also terribly dry and sore. Even saying a single sentence felt like countless grains of sand scraping through it. For some reason, I suddenly remembered the past. The rock sugar pear soup that Su Xiaoru used to make for me. A mouthful of warm pear soup going down would immediately soothe my throat, and my body would feel much more comfortable. Thinking of this, I unconsciously licked my dry, chapped lips. I forced myself up and staggered down to the kitchen. The kitchen was stocked with all kinds of ingredients. I found a few snow pears and washed them clean. After preparing everything, I felt a bit lost again. For all these years, Su Xiaoru had taken such good care of me that I had never even stepped into the kitchen. The taste in my memory is kept, making my heart itch with longing. So I had no choice but to follow the method from my memory, clumsily cutting the pear. Because of the fever, my movements were as slow as a sloth. Every step felt like it was in slow motion. Even so, I still couldn't hold the knife steady, accidentally leaving several fresh red cuts on my fingers. But it was as if I couldn't feel anything. I just slowly looked for bandages, and after applying them, quietly continued. Su Xiaoru was drawn by the noise in the kitchen and arrived just in time to see this scene. "What's wrong with you? Do you have a fever?" She frowned tightly, looking at my flushed face with a serious expression. She even reached out her hand, wanting to check the temperature on my cheek. "It's nothing." I tilted my head to avoid her. I said calmly, "I don't have a fever. I just suddenly wanted to drink pear soup." Looking at my hand full of wounds, Su Xiaoru's expression was a bit unsightly. "Let me do it for you." With that, she reached out, wanting to take the knife from my hand, but I dodged her. For a moment, the two of us were in a standoff. Su Xiaoru resolutely placed her hand on the knife handle. "Xiaoru, Du Zitang's voice suddenly came from the room upstairs. I looked at her calmly and said faintly, "Brother Zitang is looking for you. You should go. I can do it myself, okay?" After speaking, I removed her hand, slowly put the pot of pear soup on the stove, and went upstairs. Looking at my back, Su Xiaoro had only one feeling in her heart. It seemed I didn't need her anymore. When the pear soup was done stewing, she ladled a bowl and placed it in front of my room door, knocked a few times, and left. A while later, I heard the sound of a suitcase being dragged. Su Xiaoru and Du Zitang left the house. Not caring where they went, I finished the pear soup and lay back down on the bed. It's just that this time, the pear soup I made myself didn't seem as delicious or effective as in my memory. It turns out the things I used to rely on weren't so indispensable to that person after all, and it wasn't that hard to let go either. For the few days I was at home recuperating, Xiaoru was traveling with Du Zitang. Almost every day, I received photos from Du Zitang showing off their affection. They skied together, climbed mountains together, walked through every corner of the old town together, and watched the sunrise and sunset together. In every photo, the two of them had their fingers intertwined, looking at each other sweetly. Sometimes they would hug tightly and share an accidental kiss. I don't know what Du Zitang's intention was in sending me these things, but I didn't reply at all. Busy with preparations before my departure, I compiled all the expenses that Su Xiaoru had spent on me over the past 10 years and made a spreadsheet. After calculating the total amount, I deposited the money into a bank card with no password. After finishing everything, I took that card and secretly placed it in a drawer in Su Xiaoru's study. It wasn't until 3 days before I was to leave that the two of them returned with large and small bags. When she returned, she happened to see me coming out of the study. "What were you doing in my study?" I didn't expect to be caught and was momentarily flustered. I lied. "I just happened to be free with nothing to do, so I thought I'd help you clean up a bit." This answer didn't convince Su Xiaoru. Just as she was about to ask for details, Du Zitang stepped forward, feigning intimacy, and said with a smile, "Xiao Fan, your sister and I have neglected you these past few days. You must have been bored at home alone. As it happens, there's an auction tonight. Come with us." I was about to open my mouth to refuse when I received a look from Su Xiaoru that allowed no defiance. Her eyes clearly said, not to make Du Zitang unhappy. So I fell silent, not saying anything, letting Du Zitang pull me into the car to go to the auction together. At the auction house, auction items were brought out one by one. I remained uninterested. In contrast, Du Zitang took an interest in some jewelry, and Su Xiaoru generously bought it all for him. It wasn't until the auction was reaching its climax that a Su Jade bracelet was brought out, catching my eye. This bracelet wasn't perfect. It had a very small heart-shaped flaw. Because of that, many people paid it no mind. But I was the only one staring at that bracelet, my breath uncontrollably growing heavier. This bracelet was my mother's heirloom. That heart-shaped flaw was caused by me accidentally dropping it as a child. My eyes immediately turned red. I hurriedly raised my paddle, wanting to buy it. 1 million. It was just an imperfect bracelet, so not many people were interested. Just as the auctioneer was about to strike the gavel and declare the bracelet mine, Du Zitang raised his paddle. 2 million. I glanced at him, not understanding what the point was of him fighting me for this bracelet, but I anxiously raised my paddle again. 3 million. 4 million. After the two of them kept bidding, Du Zitang then looked at me apologetically, pretending to be aggrieved and said, "Xiao Fan, I can yield to you on other things, but this bracelet, I really like it a lot. There's no other way." I looked at him deeply, without saying a word. That was my mother's heirloom. I absolutely could not give in. So the two of us kept bidding. 10 million, 50 million, 100 million, 300 million. As the price got higher and higher, the entire auction house was stunned. My expression also grew increasingly ugly. I had already returned most of the money to Su Xiaoru before. If I keep bidding like this, I basically can't afford it. I had no choice but to quickly contact Chu Yu. You, can I borrow some money from you? I'll definitely pay you back as soon as possible later. The moment the message was sent, I immediately received a reply. Chu Yu directly sent a card number. The password is my birthday. This card has no limit. Just use it as you wish. We're husband and wife. Don't talk about paying it back. Her decisive words made my eyes turn red. I hurriedly typed a reply, while still raising my auction paddle. "Don't worry. I won't use much." Chu Yu quickly replied again. "We can't meet before the wedding, but you're willing to swipe my card, use my money. I am very happy." Seeing these words, my face flushed slightly. Then I continued to raise the price. The price soared to an unimaginable figure. Du Zitang's expression also became a bit ugly. He looked awkwardly at Su Xiaoru. "Xiaoru, I don't have much money left. I probably can't afford this bracelet. Maybe I should just give up." "No need to give up. I'll buy it for you," Su Xiaoru said decisively. Then, towards the waitress, she made a sky lantern gesture. The moment this gesture was made, the scene immediately erupted. I looked at Su Xiaoru in disbelief. The auction paddle in my hand had fallen to the ground at some point. The Chen family and the Su family were friends for generations. How could she not recognize this bracelet? At first, she was silent. I thought she was going to watch from the sidelines, to let me and Du Zitang compete fairly, but I never expected her to help Du Zitang in the end. Even though Chu Yu said to use the money in the card freely, how could I possibly spend it all? Finally, after a moment of silence, I completely gave up. My face was ashen, my eyes followed that bracelet. Watching with my own eyes as the staff member carefully placed the bracelet in front of Du Zitang, completing the transaction. After receiving the bracelet, Du Zitang no longer seemed as interested as before. He casually twirled it, his eyes showing a lack of concern. After looking at it for a while, he suddenly pretended to accidentally let go. The bracelet fell to the ground and shattered into pieces. Du Zitang glanced at it and said with disgust, "It was already a defective item to begin with. Now it's even more broken. Forget it, I don't want it anymore." After speaking, Du Zitang stood up with a bright smile and left with his arm around Su Xiaoru. Only I was left squatting on the ground, tears blurring my vision, rolling down endlessly, carefully picking up each broken piece of the bracelet and putting it in my pocket. I only felt my heart shatter into countless pieces along with the bracelet, full of holes, covered in wounds. In the evening, I was alone in my room, piecing together the fragments of the jade bracelet. But broken is broken, even with glue. It couldn't be restored to its original whole shape. I stared blankly at the bracelet, not even hearing the several knocks on the door. I don't know how many times they knocked, before I finally noticed. I slowly stood up and opened the door. Seeing the woman standing at the door, I was stunned for a moment. With red eyes, I wiped away a tear from the corner of my eye. "Sister, is there something you need?" Looking at the red corners of my eyes, Su Xiaoru was silent for a moment, before handing over an invitation card. "I am getting married." On the crimson invitation card were written the names of Su Xiaoru and Du Zitang. My mind buzzed, completely blank. But a moment later, I discovered that I wasn't as heartbroken as I had imagined. After the initial shock passed, I was surprisingly able to look at the person before me very calmly, and then say congratulations with a smile. Su Xiaoru's gaze was deep, her tone was like a warning. "You're grown up now, you're not allowed to be like you were at 18, saying things you shouldn't say, and on the wedding day, you're not to cause any trouble." Every single word she said told me not to cause trouble, not to cling, but I just lowered my head in silence, so she couldn't see my expression clearly. The date on the invitation was the 7th. I shook my head, a bitter smile spreading across my lips. "Sister, don't worry, I won't. I won't cause trouble, nor will I cling. I won't even attend, because that day is also my wedding day." The next few days, Su Xiaorao and Du Zitang began to prepare for the wedding. The two often left early and returned late, but every day, Du Zitang's face wore a happy smile, choosing a wedding dress, taking wedding photos, taking marriage registration photos. Du Zitang sent me photos of every single step, always proving their happiness and sweetness to me. I still didn't reply a single word. 10 hours before leaving, I asked my only friend out. In the restaurant, just as all the dishes were served, I took a package of wedding candy from my bag, exquisite and beautiful, and pushed it in front of Song Jae. I told you before, I am getting married. The wedding is tomorrow. The location is in Sucheng. It's too far. You don't need to come. This is your wedding candy in advance. Sucheng and Jincheng are worlds apart. This trip is a journey of 1,000 miles. Song Ji only then realized that I was actually doing it. There was reluctance in his eyes. "A fan? Do you really have to go?" I nodded. "Really?" Song Ji reluctantly continued to ask, "Then what about your sister Yang? You really don't like her anymore? Have you decided to give up on her?" I smiled and shook my head. "I gave up a long time ago, and stopped liking her a long time ago. I am also getting married tomorrow, and my departure is the best gift for her." 8 hours before leaving, I meticulously chose a wedding gift. It was a pair of gold and jade concentric locks, symbolizing eternal love and unity. I placed the concentric locks into a gift box and seriously wrote a congratulatory card, wishing you and brother-in-law a happy wedding, 100 years of harmony, and an everlasting love. Then I called a city courier service and asked them to send this gift at a scheduled time to Su Xiaoro and Du Zitang. 5 hours before leaving, I bought a lot of the cat food that Duong used to like, along with some toys. I placed them next to the small mound of earth under the sycamore tree in the backyard. I sat beside the tree, gently talking to him as always. Duong, I am leaving soon, so I won't be able to visit you anymore. If there's a next life, you must be reborn into a good family. Find an owner who can protect you well. I was useless. I couldn't protect you. As I spoke, I started to choke up. Goodbye, Duong. 3 hours before leaving, I returned to my room. but as soon as I walked in, I was stunned. Taeyu, who was getting married tomorrow, was standing in my room. Her gloomy eyes swept across the room. "Why is your room so empty?" My heart tightened a little. After a while, I lied, saying I had cleaned up once before and threw away a lot of unused things. I planned to buy new things later. Afraid she would keep asking, I changed the subject. "Sister, isn't it your wedding with brother Dang? Tomorrow? You should be at the hotel right now. Why did you suddenly come back here?" Only then did Taeyu return to the main topic. She said casually, Dang said he hopes you will be the best man tomorrow. He asked me to pick you up to try on the groomsman's suit. Best man? I shook my head, bitterly refusing. I can't. I am your junior. It's not appropriate for me to be the best man. Brother Dang has so many friends. There must be someone more suitable than me. Hearing this, Taeyu frowned. Just as she was about to speak, the phone in her pocket suddenly rang. It was Dang calling. I don't know what was said on the other end, but her expression changed slightly, and she stood up to leave. "Sister." Just as she was about to walk out the door, I suddenly called out to her. She was about to turn around when she heard my voice from behind. "I've always wanted to ask you about you kissing me on the night of my 18th birthday. Do you really not remember at all?" Taeyu footsteps paused. After a long silence, she slowly spoke. "I never kissed you." With that, she left without hesitation. Watching her back completely disappear, I smiled and said word by word to Taeyu, "You are a coward. From now on, even if you say you love me, I will never turn back for you." The last 10 minutes before leaving, I cleaned this room, then brought my luggage out. Just as I was about to leave, Taeyu suddenly sent a message. "Go to bed early tonight. I'll have the driver pick you up for the wedding tomorrow." I shook my head. "Sister, I can't make it to your wedding, and you don't need to come to my wedding either," I thought to myself. Then, I deleted her contact information without hesitation. After finishing everything, I left with my suitcase, disappearing into the night without looking back. The So family's car was parked nearby. After getting in the car, I closed my eyes to rest, no longer thinking about anything related to Taeyu. The So family's driver enthusiastically explained the process. "Young Master Tran, after we get to the airport, we will take this So family's private jet to Tuvan. On the plane, a professional makeup team will do my makeup. There will be time to rest in between. You can relax and enjoy it. The plane will land at the wedding venue. This will be an incredibly grand wedding." I smiled and nodded. "Yes, thank you for your hard work." As the So family's private jet took off, Taeyu's heart suddenly skipped a beat. She seemed to have a premonition, and subconsciously looked up at the sky. In the pitch-black sky, a plane flew by. For some reason, her heart ached dully. It seemed as if something had been completely lost at that moment. "Tran fam." She subconsciously muttered his name. The wind on the hotel balcony sobered her up a lot. The rising intoxication vanished instantly. Back. Suddenly, a body reeking of alcohol pressed against her. She subconsciously dodged forward. "Don't treat me like this." Taeyu's voice was extremely cold. She grabbed the hand that was slipping into her clothes, pulled it out forcefully, and flung it away. Dang stumbled back a few steps, biting his lip, his eyes full of unwillingness. "Taeyu, we're about to get married. Why are you still resisting me like this? Didn't we already talk about this?" He stomped his foot angrily. But Taeyu, not far away, seemed not to notice his discomfort, her cold expression unchanging. "Dang, I only agreed to a contract marriage with you. The contract does not include a clause for intimacy. I've said it long ago. I am against marriage. This marriage is just to make Tranfam give up hope. You'd better remember this clearly, and don't make any more excessive moves. Otherwise, I can change my marriage partner at any time. But the consequences of breaking the contract, you wouldn't want to know. Is that right? When I am not here." Taeyu was like an ice statue, so cold that no one dared to approach. Her words were also full of danger. As soon as these words were spoken, Dang felt as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over him, chilling him to the bone. The cold wind blew, and he shivered involuntarily. Taeyo's eyes held not a trace of warmth. They were terrifyingly cold. Dang immediately became obedient, not daring to make any more unnecessary moves. There will be no other thoughts. He returned to the bed, obediently pulling up the blanket, lying on the edge of the double bed, hardly daring to move inward. It's unknown how long Taeyu stood on the balcony. He was already sound asleep. Even though they were in the same bed, in the most intimate of relationships, they were still like strangers. The makeup artist from the team carefully knocked on their door. Taeyu immediately opened her eyes and coldly pushed the man beside her. "Wake up." The two of them quickly got ready, and the moment they stepped out of the room, they returned to their usual loving appearance. Anyone who saw them would think they were a deeply in love couple, but only Dang, who had his arm linked with Tutu Nu's, truly understood this woman's cold indifference. The mask of disguise had almost become one with her face, causing him to, whenever he met someone, unconsciously flash a sweet, happy smile. But in reality, his heart was full of bitterness. All of this woman's love and tenderness was likely reserved for Tran Pham alone, although Du Tu Dang, on the surface, received Tu Nu's affection. He could never get close to her heart, and what she gave him could only be possessed within the limits she allowed. He had tried for so long, but even touching her a few more times earned her disgust, let alone the dream of marrying first and loving later. The expensive suit felt like a shackle placed upon Du Tu Dang. The two dazzling newlyweds appeared at the wedding. He had his arm linked with Tutayo Yunhus, but there was no sense of reality to it. The MC had already started the proceedings. Romantic rose petals filled the air, creating a dreamlike scene. Many guests looked at Du Tu Dang with admiration and whispered among themselves, "This Mr. Du is so lucky, CEO, to really dotes on him. I heard it's even more than that young Master Tran." "Oh, what young Master Tran? He's not important anymore, just a fallen person." The chatter continuously reached Du Tu Dang's ears. His heart felt a little more secure, and his steps became more confident. That's right. No matter how much Tu Nu liked Tran Pham in her heart, after today, he would be the official master of the Tu family. What was there to be afraid of? The smile on Du Tu Dang's face became more pronounced, a joy that came from the bottom of his heart. The MC asked according to the procedure, but Tu Nu was a bit distracted. She had already looked down at the audience for the 5th time. With her status, no matter what unusual action she took, no one would say anything. On the contrary, quite a few people followed her gaze. The seat with Tran Pham's name on it was empty. Tu Nu's expression grew heavier. The emotions in her eyes fluctuated endlessly. "May I ask the bride, do you take the man before you to be your husband, to enter into a marriage contract with him, in sickness and in health, for richer or for poorer, or for any other reason? Will you love, care for, respect, and accept him, be with him forever, faithful and unchanging, until life's end?" The MC repeated the question several times, his expression growing more awkward, but he still didn't get an answer from Tu Nu. Du Tu Dang was so anxious he was about to cry. He quickly shook Tutayo Nu's arm. "Tayo Nhu, what are you thinking? Is it because you're getting married today and you're too emotional that you've forgotten what to say?" He almost begged her with his eyes, waiting for her answer. Tutayo Nhu was dazed for a moment before snapping back to her senses. Looking at Du Tu Dang in front of her, she suddenly took out her phone and sent a message to the driver at home. "Chu Truong, haven't you been able to pick up Tayo Yu Pham yet?" There was no reply for a long time. Suddenly, a call came in. "Hello, CEO2, young Master Tran. Young Master Tran, he's missing. The maid and I looked all over the house but couldn't find him. His suitcase is gone too. Do you think he ran away from home in a fit of anger?" Thud. Hearing this news, Tu Nu froze on the spot. The phone in her hand slowly slipped, fell to the ground, making a dull thud. "No, he wouldn't run away from home just because he's upset. Maybe he just didn't want to see me and Du Tu Dang get married. Not that he actually wanted to leave me." Countless thoughts flashed through Tu Nu's mind. She told herself over and over, "Don't overthink it. I should just continue with the marriage ceremony now, to completely make Tran Pham lose hope, to sever the inappropriate feelings between them." But no matter how Tu Nu tried to convince herself, she couldn't continue with this wedding. She moved very slowly to pick up the phone from the ground. Just then, a push notification for a news story appeared. "The So family, the richest clan in Than, holds a wedding of the century with a mysterious man. The marriage partner is her." Tayo Yu's heart unconsciously pounded, urging her to quickly open the news. If it were before, she absolutely would not have opened this boring gossip piece. But now, a voice from somewhere told her, "If you don't open this news, you will definitely regret it." Tayo Nu's trembling fingers clicked on the news. In the high-definition photo, on a private jet with the So Group logo, a man with a refined appearance stepped out. Although the man's face in the photo was blurred, Tayo Nu still recognized him immediately. "This is Tayo Yu Pham." She could hardly believe her eyes. For a moment, she almost thought this was fake news someone had made up. However, the next few photos, and the poster's description of the wedding, all seemed to be written by someone who was at the wedding. The latest comments below couldn't be fake. The entire article never mentioned Tran Pham's name, but from those photos, Tayo Nu could piece together in her mind a complete image of me in my suit. Every inch of my skin, she knew very clearly, including the unmistakable mole on his collarbone. For the past 10 years, the boy she had painstakingly cared for and protected had married someone else today. Thinking of this, Tayo Nu suddenly coughed up a mouthful of fresh blood. She gripped the phone tightly, her eyes staring fixedly At the phone, the picture of me and So Au and you exchanging rings on the screen was almost heart-wrenching for her. Today's wedding is cancelled. To TUNHU coldly dropped the sentence and strode out without hesitation. Her eyes were bloodshot, and almost no one dared to block her path. Even today's groom, Du Tu Dang, stood frozen on the spot. It wasn't until TUNU left that the wedding gradually became chaotic. It's just that this commotion was all about mocking the groom, abandoned by the bride on the wedding day. He must be the first, right? Does CEO to really like him? I can't see it. If she really liked him that much, how could she, at such a crucial moment, just leave him? I think so too. CEO2's expression was so ugly just now. It must be because of that young Master Tran, right? The whispers were endless. The gazes directed at Du Tu Dang were no longer as friendly as before. Feeling the change in the surrounding gazes, Du Tu Dang's face turned pale, looking extremely awful. The pristine white suit seemed to have become a huge joke, silently mocking him. The two ring-bearing children, awkwardly unsure whether to bring the rings forward, stood hesitating on the spot. Even the MC glanced at Du Tu Dang a few times and carefully asked, Mr. Du, can the wedding continue? Or perhaps you could try to see if you can call CEO to back. This statement was extremely humiliating, like a heavy slap across Du Tu Dang's face. He only felt his face burning, all his dignity completely lost today. Continue? How can we continue? He forcefully ripped off his boutonniere, threw it on the ground, and ran off in anger. As he passed the two flower children, he didn't forget to stop and snatch the wedding rings before leaving. The pain in his heart made him unable to hold back his tears, blurring his vision. Du Tu Dang had only run a few steps when he stumbled, tripping over his own feet, and fell to the ground. The once radiant groom was in an instant as pathetic as if he had fallen into mud. Even so, he stubbornly put the diamond ring on his ring finger. Hey, I am married. Today, I am the master of the two family. I've married to TOUNU. Du Tu Dang seemed to have gone mad, looking at the ownerless woman's ring in his hand, crying and laughing at the same time. The wedding that had been meticulously prepared for so long was ruined just like that. How could he accept this? It was so close. He would have become Taiyu En-he's official husband. By then, everyone would admire him, flatter him. It was so close. Tran fam, this is what you wanted, right? She went to find you. Are you satisfied now? Are you satisfied now? Du Tu Dang screamed until his voice was hoarse, almost wanting to cry tears of blood. At the same time, as Taiyu En-yu rushed out of the wedding, a delivery person approached. Excuse me, are you Mr. TUNEU? This is your package. Please sign for it. Thank you. On the delivery slip, the sender was Tran Pham. I am to TUNEU. She hurriedly took the package and opened it in the most brutal way. Wishing you and brother-in-law a happy wedding, 100 years of harmony, and a long life together. The words on the greeting card caught her eye. Her hand trembled involuntarily. For a moment, she could barely hold the gift box. The polite yet distant address completely severed the relationship between them. From my serious handwriting, it was clear that I genuinely wished her and Du Tu Dang well. This was clearly the result she wanted, the one she had worked so hard for. But now, seeing these wishes for real, she felt no joy in her heart, but rather a heart-wrenching pain. An intense pain spread from her chest, and her limbs ached dully with it. The glaring news on her phone constantly reminded her Taiyu Pham had given up on her. The pair of golden, concentric locks in the gift box was utterly ironic, as if mocking her cowardice and weakness. Taiyu Pham. Taiyu En-yu clenched the concentric locks so tightly that her hand ached and trembled uncontrollably, but she seemed to feel nothing. Taiyu Pham, you shouldn't marry someone else. She's not right for you. I will personally choose someone for you. You can't marry her. Good boy. Are you waiting for me to come get you? I'll be there soon. Jokes have their limits. You shouldn't make a joke out of a lifelong matter. She muttered to herself, squeezing out every word through gritted teeth. Her pitch-black eyes, bottomlessly deep, seemed to be brewing a sinister danger. Her expression changed several times, finally settling into a terrifying smile. Taiyu Pham, I am coming to take you home. With that, Taiyu En-yu casually tossed aside the concentric locks in her hand, without a hint of regret. Just like how she treated Du Tu Dang, the pain in her palm always kept her sober. Upon returning home, Taiyu En-yu quickly changed her clothes. By now, her phone had rung countless times. Taiyu En-yu only glanced at it, confirmed it wasn't my call, and acted as if she hadn't heard it. The urgent matter now was to get to Taiwan. She used her connections at the fastest speed to get a flight path approved. She boarded a private jet to go to Taiwan. Du Tu Dang looked at the unanswered call, almost completely in despair. Not only to Tiunu's phone, he couldn't get through to my phone either. By now, even Du Tu Dang had seen the news. The So family, the richest clan in Taiwan, holds a wedding of the century with a mysterious man. The marriage partner is him. He recognized immediately that the man in the photo was me. Tran Pham is married? Ha ha ha. To Tai Yun Yu. You've lost your chance. I will still be your husband. Du Tu Dang. After a bout of extreme tragedy and joy, laughed maniacally. Even though today's wedding was ruined, as long as he had the status of the master of the Tu family, no one would dare to mock him. Humming a happy tune, he quickly changed into another set of clothes, and after getting ready, took a plane to Tuthen, preparing to attend my wedding. At the same time, in Tuthen. When the news was published, the wedding had already reached its climax. A wedding of the century, made countless people envious. Just the wedding dress on So Aungu, the final work of a foreign master, so many wealthy ladies fought to get it, but unexpectedly, it had been reserved by the So family long ago, giving no one else a chance. Amidst everyone's blessings, I slowly walked towards So Aungu. My simple and elegant black suit perfectly complemented my gentle, jade-like temperament. My refined features held a slight smile, making my whole being shine brightly. Seeing me so outstanding, So Aung's heart couldn't help but beat irregularly. And the moment I met your eyes, as gentle as water, when we looked at each other, all the tension in my heart and the noise in my ears instantly ceased, leaving only the synchronized heartbeats and breaths of two people. Yu, will you marry me? I looked seriously at Chu Yu and solemnly held out a hand, though there were no promises. We both still saw the sincere love in each other's eyes. All this time, I had clearly seen everything she had done to help me, even without sweet words. I was still wholeheartedly willing to marry her. I do. Chu Yu said happily. She placed her hand in my warm palm, our 10 fingers intertwined, exchanging warmth, just a light touch, and the tips of both our ears quietly flushed red. Beside us, Mother Chu was so moved she was on the verge of tears, almost unable to speak a complete sentence. Father Chu was very perceptive, taking a handkerchief from his breast pocket to help her wipe her tears, and used his body to shield her flustered expression. The affection between the Chu parents was a familiar sight to many. After Mother Chu dried her tears, she choked up and took my hand. Xiao Fan. All these years, you've been alone, living under someone else's roof. It's truly been hard on you, but it's all right now. We've finally become a family. After you're married, think of me as your own mother. I promised your mother I would take good care of you. If Yu mistreats you, just tell me. I'll help you discipline her. I absolutely won't let you suffer any grievances. As she spoke, she even took out a Su-green jade pendant and placed it around my neck. Xiao Fan, this jade pendant, your mother and I made it together back then. It's just that your mother's was a bracelet, and mine was a pendant. Now I am giving this pendant to you. It's as if your mother is still by your side. I touched the pendant, my hand about to take it off, but it paused. I couldn't help it. My eyes grew moist, turning red. Auntie Chu. Mother, thank you. Mother. I choked up as I changed how I addressed her. Mother Chu was so happy she cried, hurriedly replying, yes, good boy. The jade pendant on my neck emitted a faint coolness, but my heart was incredibly warm. Although Mother Chu didn't say it explicitly, they must have all known about what happened at the auction that day, which is why they intentionally gave me this gift to comfort me, and to tell me that even though my mother's heirloom was destroyed, there were still other things that could take its place, that my mother was still with me, you could say. Their whole family had poured their hearts out to be good to me. I am not an ungrateful person. I didn't know how to express the gratitude in my heart, so I could only thank you profusely. Thank you, Mom, Dad, thank you all. As I spoke, I reverently touched the jade pendant. The 3 members of the Chu family looked at each other, and all smiled with satisfaction. Chu Yu gently patted my back comfortingly, and also took out a tissue to wipe my tears. There, don't cry anymore. Today, you are the most radiant groom, so you should be smiling. It's only natural for us to treat you well. Don't feel burdened. Once again, feeling a warmth I hadn't felt in a long time. I just felt as if I had returned to the time when my parents were still alive. I curved my lips, gradually holding back my tears, and nodded with a smile. The wedding ceremony continued, beneath the romantic piano music. I lifted Chu Yu's veil, slowly moved closer, and carefully kissed the corner of her lips. When Su Xiaoru arrived in Su City, it was already dusk. Although she had tried her best to get here, she was still a little late. The wedding venue from the news was now completely empty. Looking at the fresh flowers and ribbons everywhere, one could see how grand it had been. Xiao Fan, you really married her. You once said you would stay by my side for life. You said you would take care of me for life. How could you marry another woman? Su Xiaoru's expression was extremely gloomy. Her face darkened, her voice hoarse with suppression, as if she wanted to viciously tear a piece of flesh from someone. She angrily punched the flower castle. Countless petals fluttered down, sharp thorns pierced deep into the back of her hand, but she seemed to feel nothing. The corners of her lips curled into a dangerous and strange smile. Her eyes filled with obsession. Xiao Fan, are you really trying to force my hand? She mumbled, her slender fingertips clenching the thorns, not pulling them out at all, but instead pressing them in harder. At this moment, she had completely lost her sanity. Only the pain in her hand could bring her a little clarity. The wound in her palm hadn't healed yet. Instead, it tore open again. Su Xiaoru seemed to go mad again. The more it hurt, the more invigorating it felt. The Chu family. Right? After finding the Chu family's location, she immediately drove off at high speed. The Chu family villa was enclosed by an iron fence. The guards had already received instructions. Su Xiaoru honked several times, but the gate wasn't opened. Watching time tick by, Su Xiaoru was in no mood to wait any longer. She was afraid of being too late once again, that she might miss her destiny forever. And so Xiaoru ignored the iron fence and barrier ahead and slammed on the accelerator. The car's speed shot up, reaching its limit. A loud bang echoed. The expensive Rolls-Royce directly rammed through the barrier. Even the iron fence was smashed open. Mr. Chu. Someone just forced their way in. The guard hurriedly called Father Chu, stammering in a rush, his eyes filled with terror. It was the first time he had seen such a fearless person, who didn't even care about their own life, just to barge in. Inside the car, Su Xiaoru's eyes were filled with madness and cruelty. This reckless abandon was her true nature. As the youngest head of the Su family, how could she be a gentle, easygoing person? It was just that. For all these years, she had let go of that past in front of him. The engine screamed, continuously reporting errors, but Su Xiaoru just laughed arrogantly. Xiao Fan, I am here to take you home. She casually wiped away the fresh blood dripping down her forehead. After getting out of the car, she walked with steady steps toward the Chu family villa, like a beautiful madwoman. Inside the Chu villa, the atmosphere was joyous and festive. The brilliant, bright red stabbed her eyes. Suddenly, for some reason, Su Xiaoru felt the pain in my heart. When you saw that I was about to get married, did your heart also ache and suffer like this? The bright red double happiness character seemed to constantly declare to her that the boy had married someone else today. In the past, she had pushed me away countless times. Could this be the result she wanted to see? Su Xiaoru stood outside the Chu family gate, but suddenly stopped, hesitating to knock and enter. Her gaze was deep, her mind thinking nonstop. Her crazed mind suddenly sobered up. That's right. The person in her heart, Chen Fan, was the one she loved. If it was just about not wanting me to marry Chu Yu, then according to her previous plan, she would have also let me marry someone else. But asking her own heart, did she really want me to marry someone else? To be sweet with another person, to have children, and love each other for a lifetime? Su Xiaoru didn't want that one bit. Her heart was always torn. Her heart told her that she loved him, but her reason told her she couldn't be so irresponsible. I had been cared for by her since I was a child. She was the most familiar woman in my life, so it was normal to develop irrational thoughts. But she was the elder. She absolutely could not be the first to cross the line. However, after deciding to sign the fake marriage agreement with Du Zitang, she had been constantly suffering and tormented. Countless thoughts flashed through her mind, endlessly conflicting. But there was one thing that couldn't be denied, that she, Su Xiaoru, also liked me. As she came to this realization, the main gate of the Chu house suddenly opened. Mother Chu frowned and said, Miss Su, you are not welcome in the Chu household. Xiao Fan was very unhappy living with you. I somewhat regret entrusting him to your care back then. If not for the trouble the Chu family was in that year, I was worried the Chu family might not survive that crisis, and I didn't want Xiao Fan to suffer with us. Otherwise, I would never have agreed to let you adopt him. Mother Chu's expression was extremely cold. Her gaze towards Su Xiaoru was filled with all the grievances you endured during this time, she only found out about them later. It was just that Jin City and Su City were too far apart. If anything happened, it would take a while to investigate and find out. But that didn't stop her from loving me. I had grown used to bottling things up, never telling them about the grievances in my heart. But clearly, the me from before wasn't like this. The me from before was lively and a bit mischievous. Not at all annoying, but rather very adorable, and would even tattle and gossip with Mother Chu. But since Du Zitang appeared by Su Xiaoru's side, everything changed. He became someone who made people's hearts ache. One couldn't help but wonder how much suffering I had endured. A flicker of pity passed through Mother Chu's eyes, but when she looked at Su Xiaoru, it quickly turned into coldness and disgust. I've said it before. You'd best always treat Xiao Fan well. Otherwise, I will take him away. You promised and assured me at that time, but now you have clearly failed to do so. Since that's the case, then from this day forward, Xiao Fan is a member of our Chu family, the treasure that you, Su Xiaorao, didn't know how to cherish and love. We will naturally cherish him. Mother Chu's not-so-harsh words pierced Su Xiaoru's heart word by word. On her face, flashed a second of daze and astonishment. Could it be that she hadn't treated me well enough over the years? Then she immediately remembered everything that had happened recently. Thinking of the grievances and hurts I had suffered, she gradually had nothing left to say. I am sorry. Su Xiaoru lowered her eyes, bowing her arrogant head for the first time, muttering apologies over and over again. But Mother Chu scoffed, with an indifferent expression, saying, Su Xiaoru, you shouldn't be saying this apology to me. You should say it to Xiao Fan. Whether he forgives you or doesn't forgive you, it's all what you deserve. It's your fault. As soon as she finished speaking, Mother Chu resolutely moved to close the door, thinking these words would make her give up, but unexpectedly, the next second, Su Xiaoru's hand recklessly blocked the door, preventing it from closing. Mrs. Chu, I want to apologize to Xiao Fan. This past period has been my fault. I will explain everything to him, but he can't marry Chu Yu. He doesn't love her at all. Saying that, Su Xiaoru barged right in, giving no one a chance to react. Slap! A crisp slapping sound rang out, knocking Su Xiaoru's face to one side. She pushed her tongue against her swollen cheek and almost laughed out of anger. Father Chu's gaze was full of pressure. He said, Young lady of the Su family, Xiao Fan doesn't love you, so he must love you instead? Our Chu family has already yielded many times. You were the ones who didn't cherish Xiao Fan, and now you come here to fight for him. On what grounds? Based on that love of yours that you didn't dare speak of? Father Chu sneered coldly and roared angrily. You should know that our Chu family now is in no way inferior to your Su family. If you insist on fighting for Xiao Fan, then just try it. We will absolutely not go against Xiao Fan's wishes. As for you, he didn't finish his sentence, but it silently mocked Su Xiaoru's tangled love. Her eyes flickered between light and dark for a long while, finally revealing a distinct trace of sadness. I have to find Xiao Fan. He loves me. As long as he agrees, I can immediately prepare our wedding. I can explain everything clearly to him. It was all just a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. Before she could finish her self-reproach, upstairs, I was slowly helping Chu Yu down the stairs. Sis, what misunderstanding? Isn't today your and Du Zai Tang's wedding? Why are you here? I heard the commotion downstairs and came down, but I didn't expect to see such an unexpected person. I thought I would never see you again, but I didn't expect the chance to meet again would come so soon. Su Xiaoru was silent, hesitating to answer. Her gaze was always fixed on me. Something seemed different. The abnormally plump red of her lips looked as if it had been tormented many times. Her collar revealed a patch of fair skin, which was covered in hickeys, all indicating I was no longer a virgin. Looking back at Chu Yu, the charm between her brows and the glint in her eyes said it all. They held hands intimately, fingers intertwined. Their bodies also leaned closely together, as if they had a connection that no one else could intrude upon. Everything has already happened between them. She was still too late. Su Xiaoru stumbled back a few steps in disbelief, momentarily unable to accept what was happening before her eyes. Her face was pale, but her eyes radiated a stubborn light. Xiao Fan, I am not marrying Du Zai Tang, and I never will. He was just a tool I found for a fake marriage. The person I love is you. She screamed it out with no regrets for this lifetime. I was completely stunned on the spot, hearing Su Xiaoru say this. I didn't feel a hint of joy, but rather a strange sense of absurdity. Sis, stop joking with me. You don't need to test me anymore either. I've already given up on liking you. Did you and brother-in-law receive the gift I sent? Does he like it? I absolutely did not believe she liked me, from beginning to end. Her kindness toward me was merely the care shown to a junior. How could liking someone be like that? How could you be so cruel as to hurt the one you love? Anyway, I couldn't bear to let the person in my heart suffer even a little bit of hurt, so I was very firm in my belief, thinking that this was just another way for Su Xiaoru to test me. Who knows why she would leave her new husband to come find me? I thought indifferently, while holding Chu Yu's hand tightly, feeling the warmth from her palm. Sis, I am already Yu's husband. Don't joke like this anymore. Chu Yu's voice was gentle, but she took the marriage certificates from her pocket. She always carried these 2 marriage certificates with her, and now they finally had a use. The clear seal on the red marriage certificates couldn't be faked. The smiles of the 2 people in the photo were very infectious. Su Xiaoru stared so hard, her eyes nearly split. How could you be married? How could you possibly be married? Xiao Fan, let's go. I'll find someone to help you 2 get a divorce. You don't want to marry her, don't you? Like me? I'm not marrying Du Zai Tang. I can't marry him either. As long as you still love me, as long as you agree, well, go get married now. Su Xiaoru had completely lost her mind, grabbing my hand tightly and pulling me outside. Her hand was like iron, clamping down hard, bruising my wrist. As she moved forward, she didn't care whether I, who was behind her, agreed or not, or whether I was in pain. Sis, Su Xiaoru, I don't love you anymore. I stopped loving you a long time ago. I struggled with all my might, screaming myself hoarse, trying my best to reject her. At this moment, Shu Yu's expression changed instantly, shedding her usual gentleness, replaced with a bit of ferocity and cold-bloodedness. She directly grabbed Su Xiaorao's arm and twisted it with force. Su Xiaorao's hand loosened, and I was freed. The next second, the two women stared at each other. The tense atmosphere felt like a fight was about to break out. The Chu parents had no intention of interfering, and even pulled me back to ask with concern, "Chao Fan, does it hurt?" Mother Chu's eyes were full of heartache as she gently massaged and applied medicine for me. "Mom, I am fine. It's just that it's so late, and we're making such a racket, disturbing everyone's rest," I said apologetically. Outside, the sky was already dawning. They had been arguing here all night without sleep. "Silly child. It's okay. If anyone's to blame, it's Su Xiaoru. It's not your fault. Just let them continue to argue." Mother Chu smiled gently. On the other side, Su Xiaoru and Chu Yu's eyes were red, and both had sustained quite a few injuries. Chu Yu was not as weak as she appeared. She only had an appearance that inherited her parents' gentleness, but in reality, her heart hid the ruthlessness of a family heiress. The two were almost evenly matched. By the time the three of us looked over, both of them had stopped fighting. Su Xiaoru leaned against the corner of the wall. She was struggling to catch her breath, her chest heaving. A few glistening beads of sweat dripped from her hair. Her dress was soaked through. Chu Yu wasn't much better off. "A fan. I am in so much pain. Can you apply medicine for me?" She again pretended to be weak, leaning feebly into my arms, appearing extremely weak. Unlike Su Xiaoru, she knew how to act weak appropriately. Seeing all my attention captured by her, Su Xiaorao's face in the corner was as black as the bottom of a pot, her hands clenched into fists, wanting to charge forward and settle the score. My eyes filled with pity. I applied medicine for Chu Yu, and even unconsciously blew gently. My slender fingers, soaked with medicinal liquid, dabbed her body. Every wound was carefully treated. This scene entered Su Xiaorao's eyes, and made her wild with jealousy. In the past, I only ever applied medicine for her like this, and would never touch another woman's body. But now I no longer belonged to her. "Xiao Fan, can you apply medicine for me?" she said weakly, but I didn't hear it all. But even if I had heard, I wouldn't have cared. With Su Xiaorao's status, if she just wanted it, countless people would fight to apply medicine for her. She wasn't lacking, just me. Not only that, the Chu parents came to drive her away. "So, Su Xiaoru, do you see? Xiao Fan has let you go. Do you still want to continue pestering him? You were the one who pushed him away with your own hands. What right do you have to fight for him now?" Hearing this, Su Xiaoru's face turned pale. Her lips pressed into a thin line. Her eyes filled with loneliness. She still left, but didn't take the nearly wrecked car. Defeat and regret crashed down like a storm, nearly drowning her completely. For a moment, she had some doubts about what foolish thing she had done recently. To hell with worldly ethics and morals. If only she hadn't cared. If only she still carried the SU name. No one will dare to gossip about how it might affect your reputation. You've already bravely confessed to me like that. What do I have to be afraid of? At worst, I'll drag all the gossipers down to the abyss. It's all because I was a coward. That person was me. Xiao Fan, I'm sorry. On the night of your 18th birthday, I wasn't actually completely drunk. Su Xiaoru sat casually on the roadside, mumbling to herself. The person who should have heard this isn't here right now. On the night of your 18th birthday, that little bit of alcohol wasn't nearly enough to get me drunk. From the moment I kissed your lips, I was already completely sober. I just wanted to let loose the demon in my heart. Once, just for once. So that day, I held you tightly in my arms. But as soon as I woke up the next day, I already regretted it. I even slapped myself hard. I have 10 more years of life experience than you. Whether it's perspective or temperament, we're not on the same level. The gap between us is too wide. You can be impulsive and let loose for once. Bravely confess to me, but I can't. Everything binds me, forcing me to distance myself from you a little, because I was afraid you only said those things out of dependence on me, afraid that, after indulging in this love, I would be the one who fails. So Su Xiaoru distanced herself from me again and again, pushed me away, used every method to make me give up. She even found Du Zitang to cooperate with her. But unexpectedly, I really did as she wished. After completely leaving, she was the one who couldn't bear it, the one who couldn't let go. The pain was almost suffocating. It wasn't pleasant at all. Su Xiaoru lowered her head, biting her lip hard, suppressing the despair in her heart, not letting anyone see her weakness. Clack, clack, clack. The sound of leather shoes on the ground grew closer. "Xiaoru, don't be sad anymore. You still have me." Du Zitang's voice was incredibly gentle. The tissue he offered even had a delicate fragrance. Su Xiaoru slowly raised her head. In those dark, lightless eyes was not the emotion he had imagined. Du Ziteng let out a short scream. He hurriedly stepped back, startled by her gaze. He almost lost his footing. Then he tried to maintain his fake gentle expression, offering the tissue in his hand again. Xiaoru, Xiao Fan is married now. As his elder, you should be at ease about him. Let's go back and continue our unfinished wedding, okay? Du Ziteng forced a smile, struggling to get the words out. But the next second, Su Xiaoru suddenly stood up. Her hands grabbed his chin, squeezing relentlessly. That's right. I was so busy apologizing to Xiao Fan that I forgot to hold you accountable for everything you've done. Su Xiaoru's voice was like a nightmare, entering his ears from all directions. You had someone beat Yang Yang to death. The burn on Xiao Fan's hand was also your doing. You also smashed his mother's heirloom. As soon as these words were spoken, Du Ziteng was instantly stunned. He opened his mouth, trembling. How did you know? I set that fire at the theater. The fact that she could say this was enough to prove she had evidence. Du Ziteng's heart immediately sank into an abyss. He barely dared to look Su Xiaoru in the eye. Su Xiaoru let out a cold laugh. Did you think your dirty tricks were so well hidden? Just because I didn't deal with you before, it doesn't mean I didn't notice. I was just thinking that after we got married, I would settle the score with you once and for all, but I didn't expect you to be so shameless, hurting Xiao Fan time and time again. If it weren't for you, he would never have left me. Su Xiaoru slapped him hard across the face. Du Ziteng was slapped so hard. His vision went white. His soul almost wanted to leave his body. Su Xiaoru pulled her hand back. With a disgusted look, she took a sanitizing wipe from her bag, carefully wiping each finger. Cough, cough. Du Ziteng coughed violently a few times, gasping for big gulps of air. Tears streamed down his face uncontrollably. For a moment, he almost thought he was really going to die at her hands. That feeling of suffocation he never wanted to experience again in his life. So Du Ziteng cowered back in fear, trying to get a little further away from Su Xiaoru. But Su Xiaoru had no intention of letting him go. Clap, clap. Su Xiaoru clapped her hands a few times. A few bodyguards in black appeared out of nowhere. Du Ziteng, let me think. How did Yang Yang die? Almost all the bones in its body were broken. How much pain it must have been in. The demonic voice echoed in Du Ziteng's ears. He didn't even care about his shoes anymore. He abandoned all decorum and used all four limbs to scramble away. But those bodyguards immediately blocked all his escape routes. They formed a circle, surrounding Du Ziteng in the middle. Then they cracked their knuckles one by one. Each punch landed on his body, making sickening thuds that set one's teeth on edge. Ah, stop hitting me, please. I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Du Ziteng's pleas were intermittent. Su Xiaoru's expression was cold. She was completely unmoved. It's unknown how much time passed. Du Ziteng's pleas grew weaker and weaker. Finally, they became almost inaudible. Only then did she wave her hand, signaling the bodyguards to stop. There was barely an untouched piece of flesh on his body. His face was bruised and swollen. He even vomited several mouthfuls of blood. He looked extremely pathetic. Does it hurt? The tip of her shoe mercilessly pressed onto his face. She said faintly, Did you know? Yang Yang must have been in even more pain then than you are now. It died because of you. How can someone like you live well with that? The tip of her shoe ground harder onto his face. Du Ziteng couldn't even lift his eyelids. Hearing these words, he was so angry he almost coughed up blood. Just a worthless cat. How could it compare to him? An animal. If it's dead, it's dead. Besides, it was Chen Fan's animal. It deserved to die even more. On what grounds was she treating him like this? What did he do wrong? Su Xiaoru saw the indignation in his heart at a glance. She just let out a cold laugh. It seems you still haven't admitted you're wrong. Beat him again. When he admits he's wrong, spare him for now. Remember to leave him alive. He still has sins to atone for. After receiving the order, the bodyguards immediately took Du Ziteng and dragged him into a dark, sunless room. In the dark room, time seemed to slow down considerably. Du Ziteng finally bowed his head and confessed. When he got out, he didn't know how many days and nights had passed. He ran towards the police station, crying. Seeing the police station just across the end street, he just needed to run over and ask for help. He could get revenge on Su Xiaoru, that demon. Just then, several arms restrained him. He was once again locked in that dark, sunless room. At the peak of his despair, Su Xiaoru suddenly appeared before Du Ziteng. The bodyguards followed behind her, carrying a basin of blazing fire. They placed it in front of Du Ziteng. If it weren't for you, Xiao Fan wouldn't have had to suffer that accident. Now you should pay it back 100-fold. A low, calm voice spoke these words, but it was enough to make Du Ziteng nearly collapse. No, don't. It's not my fault. I only arranged that fire. It was clearly you. You pushed me away and didn't save him. That's why he got burned. How can you blame me? I am not wrong. I am not wrong. Even with the bodyguards holding his shoulders, he still struggled relentlessly. Tears and snot streamed down his face, but his cries didn't earn him anyone's pity. Su Xiaoru unconsciously furrowed her brows. Does it hurt that much? Then back then, you must have endured so much pain, didn't you? If I hadn't found Du Zitang, you would never have been hurt like this. I am also the main culprit. So Su Xiaoru, ignoring all attempts to stop her, plunged her hand into the basin of fire without hesitation. The heart-piercing pain made her break out in a cold sweat. The bodyguards hurriedly wanted to take her to the hospital, but she waved her hand, refusing. That day, she had let Xiao Fan go to the hospital alone, so this time, she had to experience it herself. Only then would it be considered fair. As soon as Su Xiaoru stepped outside, as fate would have it, it started to rain. Exactly like what you encountered that day. She let the rain soak her completely. The wound hurt so much she could barely breathe. After getting treated at the hospital, she still walked back. She was just luckier. She didn't encounter a hit-and-run electric scooter. On the way back to the hotel, she called you. Unsurprisingly, the other end didn't pick up. Heh. Su Xiaoru laughed mockingly at herself, mocking her own coldness from that day. If you had only been burned, you wouldn't have been in such a miserable state. I heard the maid say. You fainted right at the door. A pathetic sight, covered in wounds from head to toe. And no one dared to help you up. In the end, you had to crawl back to your room on your own. How desperate must you have been then? The pain I feel now isn't even a fraction of yours. It's all my fault. I was wrong. Su Xiaoru, again and again, punched her own chest, filled with extreme regret. As soon as she got back to the hotel and applied medicine, she called her special assistant. I want you to find some people to go to the house. Throw all of Du Zitang's things out. Burn it all for me. Don't leave a single thing. The special assistant hesitated for a moment, probing. He asked, CEO Su, are you sure you want to burn everything? Isn't he your fiancé? Of course. Burn it all. He no longer has any relationship with me. Announce to everyone, and release a statement canceling the engagement. Su Xiaoru frowned impatiently. Her words were utterly heartless. The special assistant on the other end received the order. He hurriedly agreed and immediately went to do it. Not long after, the Su Corporation issued a statement, informing everyone that Du Zitang's engagement was cancelled due to improper conduct. From now on, he has no connection to Su Xiaoru or the Su Corporation. As soon as this news broke, it immediately caused a huge shockwave. Not long ago, countless people were envious of Du Zitang, wishing they could be Du Zitang. But unexpectedly, the bride ran away on the wedding day, and now the engagement is even cancelled. I bet he hasn't even been CEO Su's husband for a single day. How tragic. Tisk, tisk. Improper conduct. What kind of improper conduct was it? I heard before that he was a scumbag when he became CEO Su's fiancé. I even thought CEO Su had bad taste. Before, when he was just CEO Su's fiancé, he used that status to bully quite a few people. Didn't he? It was just out of respect for his status. If you know, you know. A bodyguard deliberately held up a phone, letting Du Zitang in the darkroom see this news, and all the comments below. When a wall is about to collapse, everyone gives it a push. It's just like that. Du Zitang was on the verge of collapse. He stared blankly at the news. For a long time, he couldn't snap out of it. Impossible. Impossible. I am the master of the Su household. I am Su Xiaoru's official husband. How can you talk about me like that? He had completely lost his mind. His hands flailed around nonstop. He even knocked the phone out of the bodyguard's hand. Seeing him like this, the bodyguards didn't stop him anymore. They let him run out. Du Zitang was dressed in rags. His whole body was unbearably filthy. The wounds on his body, left untreated for a long time, gave off an indescribable stench. Having struggled to escape, he was much more clear-headed. He resolutely ran towards the police station, but when he reported his identity to the police officer's concerned expression immediately changed. Du Zitang, right? You are suspected of intentional injury. Come with us. And click. The handcuffs were locked. Du Zitang couldn't escape even if he wanted to. Are you listening to me? I want to report Su Xiaoru. Look at the wounds on my body. This is all evidence. I want to report her and have you arrest her. He screamed until his throat was hoarse. He kept lifting his shirt, rolling up his sleeves and pant legs, but the wounds on his body had almost healed. Only a few minor injuries remained. Even if he went for an injury assessment, it would be useless. Besides, Su Xiaoru had clear evidence in her hands. While he had no proof at all, the police just pretended not to see and led Du Zitang away. At the same time, Su Xiaoru stood in front of the Chu family's house, stubbornly waiting for my return. She waited just like that until dusk, before she heard the sound of a car. Be careful, you. after I got out of the car. I went over to Chu Yu Yu's side and opened the car door for her. I carefully helped her out. My clumsy, awkward appearance made Chu Yu Yu let out a laugh. "It's nothing. I am just pregnant. You don't need to be so nervous." Although she said that, I still held Chu Yu Yu's hand tightly. Every step was incredibly slow. Then we were both amused by our own pace. At this moment, Su Xiaoru stood frozen not far away. The carefully prepared items in her hands all fell to the ground. "Pregnant? How is she pregnant?" she mumbled. The rims of her eyes turned red without her realizing. Her vision blurred. Hearing this, Chu Yu Yu and I noticed Su Xiaoru standing in front of the house. "Why are you here?" My first reaction was to protect Chu Yu Yu behind me, afraid that Su Xiaoru would do something crazy and hurt Chu Yu Yu. Chu Yu Yu also warily grabbed the hem of my shirt, peeking out from behind me. "Xiao Fan, I came to apologize. I want to explain everything to you, to beg for your forgiveness, to have you come back to my side." Su Xiaoru's voice grew weaker and weaker. She unconsciously licked her dry lips. Her face was full of caution. This was the first time I had seen her like this, completely different from the sharp, scheming image of before. So she also had such a weak side. I slowly stepped forward, speaking calmly and distantly. "If you have something to say it all at once. I will not forgive you, and I will not come back to your side. Yu Yu is carrying my child. We are very happy now." This sentence pierced deeply into Su Xiaoru's heart. She felt as if all the strength had been drained from her body. She was a little unsteady on her feet. For a moment, she didn't know whether she should speak or not. "After all, your wife is already carrying your child. How could it be so fast?" The sadness in her eyes was about to overflow, but she still stubbornly began to speak. "Xiao Fan, I have always loved you. Since before you confessed to me, I already loved you. The things Du Ziteng did to you, I have paid him back for every single one of them." She spoke slowly. The feelings she had suppressed for so many years, and the painful memories that belonged only to her, she poured them all out. At this moment, whether you would be moved enough to leave Chu Yu Yu, her choosing her was no longer important. She just wanted you to know that over the years, you weren't the only one persistently loving in loneliness. Over the years, she had also been secretly loving you, earlier than you, more deeply than you. After these words were spoken, I fell silent. 100 emotions tangled in my heart, extremely complicated. So she loved me too. So the kiss on my 18th birthday night, you remembered it too. All of this wasn't my own one-man show, nor was it a dream I had imagined. A late confession, once again stirring that unforgettable love. But a heart that has been deeply hurt can no longer be moved by her again. "Sister, that's enough. Let's try to see less of each other in the future. My life is very good now. I don't plan on going back." I smiled faintly, speaking calmly, while rubbing Chu Yu Yu's belly. Chu Yu Yu looked at me with a radiant smile. I firmly took her hand and said, "Yu Yu, let's go home. The me of today no longer needs that love from Su Xiaoru. I have a wife, a family, a child who loves me. There's no need to cling to that unattainable love anymore." After getting home, I hurriedly poured Chu Yu Yu a glass of warm water, and also simmered a pot of chicken soup. When the chicken soup was served, I watched with satisfaction as Chu Yu Yu finished it. Then Chu Yu Yu spoke with a hint of bitterness. "A fan. Is your sister Yang that important in your heart, occupying such an important place? What about me? Do you love me as you loved her?" In her eyes that were usually as gentle as water, there was now a trace of sorrow and disappointment. I asked myself. I had pursued Su Xiaoru for so many years. It was impossible for Chu Yu Yu not to be jealous of Su Xiaoru. Therefore, this question would sooner or later be asked for an answer. I also understood the insecurity in her heart, so I pressed my hand into her palm. "Yu Yu, you are also very important. In the future, you will only be more important than her. I will try to love you more. Our future is still very long, isn't it?" The Su Xiaoru of the past occupied an incredibly important place in my life. I can't deny that I once loved her deeply, but now, I no longer love her. From now on, she is only my sister Yang, that's all. These words of mine completely soothed the insecurity in Chu Yu Yu's heart. On her face, a genuine smile gradually blossomed. "A fan, we, as a family, will be together forever." Saying that, she pulled my hand, placing my warm hand on her belly. Although I couldn't feel the baby inside yet, I also laughed happily along. In contrast to the warm scene over here, Su Xiaoru bent down, picking up all the prepared gifts from the ground. Before, she only needed to give me a gift and coax me a little, to make me smile again. But this time, he would never be able to soothe his baby again. From Kin Thi to Du Thi, it takes 5 or 6 hours by plane. After returning this time, would you come back to see him? Even if he wanted to, the chances of you two meeting would be pitifully slim. Not to mention, he now has a child. To Tiu and you had always calculated everything. Before today, she had imagined countless possibilities. She even thought about ignoring all my resistance. and forcing me back to Kinthai. As long as we were together long enough, being as soft-hearted as I am, sooner or later I would fall in love with her again. But she never expected that So Ayu Ngu would be pregnant. How long has it been since this was a possibility? How could she be pregnant? Tai Ou Nhu picked up the scattered things from the floor and quietly walked out. Her whole body exuded dejection. I am about to become a father. How could you have the heart to force me to leave, to be separated from my family? My Tiu fam is most afraid of pain. He has nothing left. He can't lose his child too. Tiu Nhu muttered to herself, her tone filled with sorrow, bordering on despair. Since he was young, he always longed for a family. I remember when his parents had just passed away, he was like an unwanted little hedgehog, so soft and vulnerable, yet he had to pretend to raise his quills. When I first brought him home, his small hand held onto mine tightly, refusing to let go for even a second. It took me so many years to raise him into a confident, radiant person, with the look of a grown-up that wasn't unlikable at all. And it was me. I destroyed that beautiful memory with my own hands. Tiu Nhu blamed herself immensely. But she didn't dare to destroy my current happiness anymore. Will he be happy at the So family's home? She took all the gifts she hadn't given him, and boarded the plane back to Kinthi. The two-family home in Kinthi returned to the deathly silence of 10 years ago. Whether it was the servants or the master, everyone was silent, without a sound. Even the company was shrouded in a gloomy atmosphere. Many employees didn't dare to breathe too loudly, for fear of bringing trouble upon themselves. Tai Ou Nhu was like a work machine, rarely returning to that house, because that place no longer had any trace of my existence. It couldn't be called a home anymore. Her office was almost filled with my photos, all of which she had someone secretly take. The me in the photos, the expressions on my face, whether smiling or angry, were so vivid. It was the version of me that Tai Ou Nhu hadn't seen in a long time. Now she didn't dare to see me, afraid that I would be unhappy to see her. She could only rely on these photos to reminisce. Just by looking at the photos, Tiu Nhu seemed to be able, in her mind, to picture my appearance at that time, and the words I had spoken. Day after day passed, and So August's due date was approaching. The So family were all very anxious. Everyone took turns staying by her bedside. Even though she was in the hospital's most premium ward, they still couldn't rest easy. I held So Au Nhu's hand tightly, always paying attention to her condition. The moment she frowned, I immediately knew she was unwell, and would help massage her legs. More important than the child in her womb was So Au Nhu's health, so I didn't dare to let my guard down for a second. Until So Au Nhu was wheeled into the delivery room, dozens of doctors were ready. I also put on a sterile surgical gown, with a tense expression, staying by her bed, constantly encouraging her. Outside the delivery room, Tiu Nhu had just gotten off the plane, and rushed over immediately. Has she given birth yet? Are Au and Tiu fam okay? She asked worriedly, looking like a relative of the child. SOS parents knew she cared a lot about me, so they pulled her to sit on a nearby chair. The baby hasn't been born yet. The two of them just went in. Just sit here and wait. Standing there will just be in the way. Okay. Tai Ou Nhu was so nervous she broke out in a cold sweat, her heart pounding uncontrollably. Time passed bit by bit. She was so anxious she wanted to rush in and tell the doctor, no matter what it took. Both mother and child had to be safe. However, just as she stood up, the delivery room door suddenly opened. She's given birth. It's a boy. Grandparents, come and hold him for a bit. The nurse brought the baby out for the family to see. SOS parents only gave a cursory glance, and then placed the baby into Tai Nhu's arms. Then they hurriedly gathered around to check on So Au Nhu, terrified that something might have happened to her. If it weren't for the tiny life in her arms, Tiu Nhu would have wanted to rush in too. Looking at the baby in her arms, who looked 80% like me, she smiled serenely, and followed the doctor for a checkup. Fortunately, both mother and child were safe and sound. Not long after, So Au Nhu woke up. I didn't leave her side for a moment, and seeing So Au Nhu awake, I was so happy I cried. Au Nhu. After this one, we won't have any more. She also nodded weakly. Whether the baby was a boy or a girl, she didn't want to suffer anymore. Tiu Nhu handed the baby back to the nurse. Please take him in to his parents. I won't go in. The nurse looked at her quizzically, took the baby, and went into the ward. She couldn't help but wonder, isn't she a relative of the child? Why isn't she going in with them? Tai Ou Nhu only watched the two of them from the doorway, then quietly left. She shouldn't appear in front of me. Just watching from a distance for a bit, knowing that I am still well, is good enough. Just after Tai Ou left, I, holding the baby, smelled the familiar scent of cedarwood, and instinctively asked a question. Sister, was she here? SOS parents both nodded. I see. I didn't ask anything more, just treating her as a distant relative. Knowing she is safe is enough. The child grew up little by little. On the day of his 1-month celebration, Tatu made a special trip to attend. After giving countless gifts like houses, company shares, gold, and jewels, she quietly left. In a place unknown to me, Tatu knew my situation every day. She knew whether I was happy or not, knew if the child was well behaved, knew everything about me but rarely appeared before me. It was only because of what I said that day. Let's see less of each other from now on. I said we should see less of each other, and she really did as I wished. When the child learned to speak, the first word he called out wasn't dad, nor was it mom, but duong duong. Hearing the two words duong duong, I froze for a moment. My family and I had never taught the child this word. How on earth did he know it? Reflexively, large tears rolled down my face. I hugged the child tightly and asked emotionally, "My dear, are you duong duong? You've come back to find dad." The baby in my arms didn't answer. He only repeated the two words duong duong. Then, he made a gesture that the kitten duong duong used to love. His small hand placed on my eyelid, kneading without extending his claws. Feeling this gentle action, my tears completely broke free. From that day on, the child's nickname at home was Duong Duong. Tatu, all the way in Kin Thi, heard this news, and saw that heartwarming photo. Her heart couldn't help but skip a beat. Endless regret welled up inside her. A long time later, she stood before the floor-to-ceiling window, her lifeless eyes gazing at the scenery outside. The moon gradually set, and a radiant sun slowly rose. "That's wonderful, Duong. Duong," you've returned to his side. "It's just that I can never go back." Tatu whispered with loneliness.